All right. So, welcome to my review of Ahsoka episode 2. Now, it picks up where the last episode left off, and Sabine is, I guess for lack of a better word, in a hospital. So, she's in a hospital. Hyung is there with another droid. I assume it's a doctor droid or a nurse droid or something, along with Ahsoka. And she is having nightmares. And Ahsoka is sensing those nightmares. So she goes to Sabine, and Sabine is surprised where she is, which I would be too if I thought I was dead. But so Sabine is talking to Ahsoka. Ahsoka is really kind of bitchy to her about, oh, I lost the star map. Oh, how many droids were there? Well, there were two, but I took care of one of them. And she's like, it's not a big deal. Yes, it is, because I unlocked the star map. Which, like I said in the last episode, I think that's what Shin was waiting for Sabine to unlock it herself, even though I'm pretty sure that Morgan Elsbeth would have been able to do it without a problem anyway. But I think Shin was waiting for that. But anyway, because I'm pretty sure that Morgan creeps Shin out. But anyway, so they're talking, and as Ahsoka is leaving to get more clues as to what happened, because she was asking her about the droid, and, that she had a backup, but the droid destroyed it, and so she decided to go and do her own investigation. Sabine wants to come with her, but Ahsoka just said, you need to rest. You've done enough. And Sabine understood it the way I did, which is, yeah, not very happy with Sabine, which, I mean, it's not Sabine's fault. It's not like she wanted this to happen. She was able to get stuff done. She was able to unlock the star map. Just so happens that she was followed. So Ahsoka goes to where Sabine lives and decides to do her own investigation. Sabine and Hera talk. Hera has this nice pep talk with Sabine that is meant to make her feel better. In sharp contrast to Hyung's pep talk, which happens later. So, Ahsoka goes to Sabine's house, and she sees her cat there. And I'm just waiting for them to bring the cat wherever they want to go, because that cat is a great warning system. So she's walking around, she's looking around, she's basically doing Jedi CSI because she was basically using the Force to try to figure out what happened, and try to put clues together. And as she's doing it, the cat hisses, and immediately she takes out a droid, just decapitates it, and she takes the droid head. She basically thanked the cat. She's like, I was hoping you'd still be there. That was her way of thanking the cat. So she takes the droid head, back to Sabine, and wants Sabine to try to find out where this droid came from. And Sabine said that, oh, there's all these, it's resilient just like me, so it has all these backup systems, and I could do it, but it could also overheat the battery. Oh, what happens when it overheats? The head will explode. And Hyung is freaking out. I'm like, okay, the shrapnel are not going to kill you. You are a droid. I mean, really? You really think this is going to hurt you? This is going to hurt Ahsoka and Sabine far worse than it could ever hurt you. I mean, I guess he's so proud of himself that he's still 75% original parts that he doesn't want to risk changing that, but okay. So she's trying to figure out where this head comes from, and she came so close to the head exploding. And Hyung, like I said, wants to shut it off because he's freaking out. Again, you're a droid, dude. It's just one head. I don't think it's going to damage you as much as you think it is. It's going to damage Sabine and Ahsoka so much more. But Hyung did have a good observation for Hera. Hera's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And Hyung's like, yeah, because you're a hologram. Which is true. She's the least likely to get hurt. Actually, there's no possible way she could get hurt from this. So they find out where the head came from. And it turns out that Morgan Elsbeth does have a I don't remember what they call it, but basically a workshop on this planet. So Ahsoka and Hera go. Sabine wants to go, but she's like, no, you need to rest. So Sabine is bummed, and Hyung gives the absolute positively worst pep talk ever. She's, pointing out how she's not very good. Hyung asked her about her lightsaber. She's like, it's Ezra's. And he's like, yeah, you made modifications, so it's yours now. And he asked her, she says she's not as good as Ezra. And he's like, yeah, that's true. Actually, I haven't met a Padawan less talented in the Force than you. That's basically what he told her. It's like, oh my God, are you serious? I realize she is a Mandalorian, and Mandalorian culture is much more hardcore, but dude, seriously? I mean, you didn't have to go that hard on her. I mean, yes, okay, so basically my theory was partially correct. I was questioning whether how strong she is in the Force, but it could be just that she sucks at utilizing the Force rather than not being strong in it. Maybe that's the same thing. I don't know. So, while this is happening, Morgan, Shin, and Balin are looking at the star map, and Morgan is explaining we have to go from here to there. We need a hyperdrive, so I'm going to create one. And so Shin is supposed to go to, I can't remember the name of the planet, sorry. She sends her and Marok to this planet. And some people are questioning whether Marok isn't actually Ezra. But he ended up stuck with Thrawn, so... But it could be some sort of switcheroo. It could be, I don't know, a clone of Ezra? But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, they go to the planet. Hera and and Ahsoka go, and they're talking with the, for lack of a better term, a foreman. So they're talking to him about the operation, and everybody who works there are former Imperial, and that they're just, they just care about paycheck, they don't care about politics, it's all good. And you could see that Hera and Ahsoka are panicking more and more. They're like, oh my god, this is just bad waiting to happen if it hasn't already. So he's showing them the operation. Um, it turns out some information that she wanted was classified. Ahsoka is noticing one of the workers in the central station looking very sus. So she's keeping an eye on him because she might not be a Jedi now, but she's still Force sensitive. She still has her Jedi training. So, he claims that it's classified, and she's like, Hera's like, dude, I'm a general. Nothing's classified for me. So he's like, well, yeah, but I can't authorize, I can't see it. She's like, I'm authorizing you. It's like, I can't open it. So he goes to one of the droids, and the droid is giving them all the information, and they're trying to say, oh, we have no idea what happened, who this person is, who this droid is. We know nothing. And the droid is just spilling her guts, completely oblivious to the fact that everybody else is like panicking because they're still Imperials. So the guy who is sus from the very beginning attacks, and Hera and Ahsoka take them all down because, of course, they did. I hope that the droid that helped them out, though, I hope that that one wasn't arrested, because obviously that droid was helpful and probably wanted nothing to do with the Imperials. Granted, like Ahsoka said, this was more about greed than anything. But still, I hope that that droid wasn't arrested or decommissioned or whatever you do to droids. And so but anyway, they run after the ship that's disembarking. Hera is trying to get it to stop, because she's a general. She's trying to make it stop. And yeah, like, that's gonna work. Ahsoka initially was running after it. I was expecting her to force jump onto the ship. But Marok is there with another droid, which she takes out the droid easily because, of course, she did. And so it's between her and Marok. And she seems to have him dead to rights until Shin comes, and until they show Shin, and he's able to get onto the platform, and they're able to fly away. Hera, in the meantime, wants Chopper to put a tracking beacon on the ship, and they're having a most delightful argument. Oh my god, Chopper is fast becoming my favorite character in this show. He is awesome. He's trying to put together the beacon, and he's like, have you been messing with my stuff? It's like, no, I have not been messing with your stuff. So it was just so adorable. I love that so much. And that's what I love about this show as opposed to a lot of other Star Wars shows. They treat droids like people. They don't treat them as, servants or as machines. They have conversations with them like they're intelligent beings, and that they're equals. So I love that about this show. So I was already loving this show, and I'm loving it even more now, just for that. So Chopper manages to put the beacon on. And so they get away. And Hera informs Ahsoka that they got the tracking beacon onto the ship. So now it's just about the waiting game, which is, Chopper has to give them info. So, in the meantime, Sabine, because the one thing Hayung did say, which I did like to Sabine, was that, she's like, oh, we're just wasting time. And he's like, no, the only time you're wasting is your own. So that's her call to action. She takes the lightsaber, goes home, puts her Mandalorian armor back together, and cuts her hair. And I have noticed, granted, there haven't been that many women Mandalorians we've seen without their helmet, but the hair is short. Or in the case of Sasha Banks, it's in, I think it was in cornrows, if I recall. But anyway, they keep their hair short in some fashion so they can put it under their helmet. So she cuts her hair, and she goes to the mural, and she touches Ezra's face. And I've seen that was how the animated show ended, with that scene of her at the mural turning around, and there's Ahsoka standing there. So because she told Ahsoka that she's ready. She sees her Mandalorian armor, and she's like, I'm ready. So they go onto the ship, and they're still, I don't know where they're going, because at this point, Chopper I don't think, got a signal. So she goes onto Ahsoka's ship, and she refers to Sabine as her Padawan. So it's back to the master and apprentice. Now, how much this is going to help her, I don't know. Let's go back to Morgan and Shin and Balin. So they're talking about Shin, Balin, and Marok are hologramming into Morgan. And Morgan's like, okay, our device is almost ready. And, how Balin's like, yeah, it's gonna suck having to kill Ahsoka, because she's, there's so few Jedi left. So he obviously still, in some way or fashion, identifies with the Jedi. Because he never said he wasn't, he said he wasn't a Jedi, but it's not like he's a Sith. He's a dark Jedi. So yeah, he's bummed about that, which, could you scream any louder or put it in a neon sign that said that Ahsoka is going to kill Balin? Because Balin is just bemoaning the fact that he has to kill Ahsoka. And it's not that he's bemoaning the fact, but the fact that he thinks he's going to be able to do that is just like, yeah, you just signed your death warrant. And, Balin and Morgan were talking about that, Balin saying she's coming. And Shin's like, how? She doesn't know where we are. She couldn't track us. Well, actually, Shin, yeah, she can. Um, so, but like I said, while they were in the star map, like I said last week, I think I said last week, definitely at the beginning of this video, I think that Morgan creeps out Shin. I mean, that could just be the way she is, but she just seems totally creeped out by Morgan. So, um, Shin even asked, why do we want Thrawn back? And Balin says that for us, it means more power than we could have ever known. Okay, why does that scream that Shin is gonna be the one to change sides? Because I don't know. She's just doesn't seem to be buying what is being sold to her. Yes, Balin is her master, but hey, Ahsoka abandoned Anakin. Granted, she didn't know he was going to become Darth Vader and thinks that if she had stayed, he wouldn't have been. But it's not like this isn't the first time that, it's not unheard of that Padawan just says peace out to a master for whatever reason. Um, so let's see if I'm missing anything. Oh, yes, and I forgot to mention in the last episode, there was a dedication at the end of the episode to Ray Stevenson, who passed away, I think, 3 months ago. It was in May. Yeah, so 3 months ago. And I honestly thought that they would either have it for, at the end of every episode or just a season-long dedication. This season is dedicated to Ray Stevenson or something. But still. Yeah, it's actually, I mentioned this even before the episode started. I'm kind of glad that it looks like he's a dead man. Simply because, I mean, I like the character, fine. That's not the problem. I just, you know, once you start to like a character and you identify a certain actor with that character, it's really, really hard to recast. So yeah. Yeah, recasting is always a tricky proposition. So it's probably for the best if he just dies. Because the actor did, and that way you don't have to worry about recasting. So I do think that Balin is going to die by the end of the season, and Shin is going to not necessarily become a good Jedi again. That she won't become a Jedi. She might do what Ahsoka is doing, what Grogu is doing, in that they're forging their own paths. And so I really wonder if by the end of the series, if the others meet Grogu, because which would probably make Sabine feel even more lousy about her abilities with the Force, because as good as Shin is, yeah, I don't care if Grogu is still a baby. He could totally take her. And so maybe they'll use it that way. It's like, oh, you feel bad about, how much better Shin is than you? Here, let me introduce you to this baby who's going to wipe the floor onto Shin. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm rambling. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next video.